recently I built a resume AI assistant that drafts a resume based on the information you give it. And I built this using Streamlit, Python, and Gemini LLM. This project was initially meant to be a demo for a build with AI event. I was invited to speak, but I couldn't demo it. But here is how I built the project. All right, so let's get into the project. So this is a simple resume AI assistant project that is built on Streamlit, and it uses Gemini AI model. So the app.py is the main project where, like I said, is built on Streamlit. So this has the Streamlit component. I would be showing you the end result in a minute. So let's just walk through the code base. So this line 6 and line 7, let me just make this bolder for you to see. So line 6 and line 7 has a title, resume draft builder AI, and generate a draft resume to help you apply for jobs faster. So the reason why I decided to opt for this solution was something a lot of people in the tech community here in Nigeria faces. When they see a job opportunity that fits their skill set, they really don't know how to apply for it, and a lot of them do not have resumes. Like creating resumes or drafting that is very very difficult. Hence this solution where they get to add the job title that they are applying for. They get to drop their experience, like write their experience in paragraphs or in sentences, add some modern information like their email address, full name, if they have a personal website that could serve as a portfolio, and their LinkedIn profile. And then they get to send all this information, including their education background if it applies, their technical skills, and any other information. They get to send that to Gemini would use that information and create a draft resume. Now this resume is not perfect, hence the word draft. So they get to use this draft resume to build whatever, to create their professional resume and apply for whatever job they want to apply for. This Streamlit component lets them add their email address, full name, personal website, LinkedIn profile. This next component is for basic information like the job title they're applying for, their years of experience. This next line is for their professional experience, mostly since they are very new. Their professional experience could be their contribution, could be an open source contribution, or any other thing that relates to how they have worked with someone, they've collaborated with someone, or worked in a team, or contributed to a project. Then they get to add their education background, their technical skills, and lots more. Then this part of the code would be to generate the resume. So it takes all the details that the user had sent, the job title, experience, etc. It takes this and it generates a resume. Let's click on this so that you would see the resume agent. Now the resume agent is powered by, as I said, Gemini. So this resume is where we define the prompt. So we want to take those information from Streamlit, from the user, send those information, prompting the model like create a professional resume based on this job title using the following information. The format should be in a modern ATS friendly format with clear sections like the position, the experience, the education, etc. And then we also give it more information like how we want the resume to be formatted, like using markdown, starting a new section with the heading level 2, that's the header 2, using bullet points for list like under the experience, keeping the content very short, and ensuring that the resume is ATS proofed. So this resume underscore agent is where we play around with the prompting. So if you're ever interacting with Gemini, or if you're ever interacting with LLMs, something that you need to really know is prompt engineering. Like, you need to know how you can prompt the model to give you what you really want it to give you. So this is just what I define for the prompting for the project. Then I also added the contact information, the full name, the LinkedIn, the portfolio. Then I would want the model to generate a brief summary on the user's experience that talks a bit, relates to the job title. The same thing for the professional experience. I want them to transform the experience into bullet points, the education, the technical background. If the user passes any certification, I want them to add the certification as well. Then some other added information, which is here, like use strong action verbs, include metrics. It should be ATS, which is applicant tracking system friendly, and lots more. So now, what's this line of this code, this response equals to self dot model dot generates underscore content does is that it takes the prompts which include the instruction we are giving to the model plus the information we are getting from the user. It takes that and generates a response, and this response will be returned as a text, and it would be returned somewhere here as resume drafts. And this resume draft would be shown on the front on the UI, on the Streamlit UI. And then another thing that I wanted to also do is to add a download option for the user to download the resume as a docx file. I tried playing around with .txt, but that did not really work out well, so I just decided to stick to docx. Yeah. So now in docx, this is what it does. Now, it takes the response from Gemini and it creates a document. And the document, it uses Python docx. All the dependencies I used to build the projects will be added in the video description, so don't worry about it. And also I will be adding the GitHub repository as well. So it takes the AI response, generates a document out of it, and the document would be in sections. So the sections were defined here, and then they would be headings like for summary, experience, education, skills, like how a resume should look like. So it's going to take that information, convert it into a document with 4 different headings, and then it's going to generate the document. So when the user clicks on download, it downloads that response as a docx file. If you are wondering where I define the AI model, so I defined it under, I defined it under the config.py. So your API key is a private key which should not be accessible to end user. So I added it to my .env file, and I called it here. That's in line 6. I called it here. I defined the name of the model, defined the temperature. Now, when you're talking about the temperature when dealing with LLM, so the temperature has to do with how creative you want your AI model to be. So if your temperature is at 0, you want it to be very strict, and it would give your AI model or the LLM less creative space. But if it is towards 1, like mine is defined to 0.7, I'm giving my LLM or the Gemini AI model a creative space. And I know you're wondering why I also defined this here. So I'm very sure I should not have, okay, yes, I actually should not have defined this here because it was not even being used here in the first place. But down here, when I am generating the response, I also need to configure how the LLM should generate the response. So I have already talked about the temperature, and now I want to talk about the top P. Now the top P stands for the nucleus sampling, which is we want Gemini to pick the less likely probable tokens. Now, what do I mean by that? When interacting with LLM, I'm not sure if you know this, but generative AI does not think for itself. So what it does is it takes your question or information and it tokenizes it, which means it takes that and turns that into tokens. It takes the said tokens and look for the things that similarly resembles the token that you have sent to it. So it does something we call probability. So it takes that, it takes your question, tokenizes it, then look for other tokens that are similar to yours, and then it generates response based on that. So now the top P, what it does is that if your top P is in 0, it's less likely to pick a probable token. But if the top P is close to 1, like mine is 0.8, it's going to pick the most likely token. I really hope I did not confuse you on that explanation, but well, this is how I configured the LLM. All right, so let's run the Streamlit project by using the Streamlit run app the py command. So now this is how the user interface of the project looks like. So as I said earlier, it's the user passing their email address, full name, personal website, LinkedIn, and some other information. So let's just do a basic demo to see how that is. So dummy at user.co, Sophia, sophia.a.me. This is the URL for my oh, you can just add the links in there. So let's say I want to apply for a developer advocacy role, and I have like 2 years of experience. And in that 2 years of experience, I had worked as a developer advocate for company one, where I managed the community on the company's blog with over 20% increased engagement rates. Then company two, let's just give it this, and worked as a technical writer. Company two, where I just remember that where I created Python guides. I created Python guides for the company blog. Uh, educational background. Let's say I studied computer science in school. Or more like in, let's say, University of Nigeria. Technical skills, Docker, Python, HTML, CSS. Certification, if any. Python tutorials, Python certificates. So this is just, well, these are obviously not real information. So this is just to test the project and, show you how this works. Now, when you hit on the generate resume, it sends all the information that you have added and it gives you this. So it takes all this information here and give you a draft for a resume that you can build more about. So you see here in the professional experience, it took your experience here, like you didn't even give the AI a detailed experience, but it took that small piece of information and it generated a more accurate it generated a more accurate bullet point of your experience as company one, company two, and your educational background, your technical skills, where it separated the languages from the tools. And before you say HTML is not a language, that is very, very debatable. Then it added your certification, your project, and then you can decide to download this in docx file. So now when you open this up, okay, so when you open that up, remember our prompting said that the AI should generate this as a markdown. So now you can decide to play around to adjust it, and this will give you an easy way for you to build your resume. So that is how the project work, and this is everything about the project. If you would want me to deploy the project, you can let me know in the comments. There's a tool that I've been meaning to test deployment with, so I can deploy the project there. So in the meantime, if you found this helpful, or you want me to create more content around AI and Python and LLMs, you can let me know in the comments. So I would also be linking how to create your API key in the video description as well.